staan achter bij de EA-stand en we hebben hier naast ons staan Greg Zещuk van BioWare, een van de co-founders. En we staan hier ter gelegenheid van The Old Republic. Hij is hier speelbaar, er is een heleboel nieuws, dus we gaan even de man wat vragen over de game. I'm very curious about The Old Republic because it's gonna come out soon. Have you guys decided on a final release date yet, or is that still?
We're still a little bit in flux, but what we're saying right now is we're targeting holiday, so pretty soon. So we're just getting the final touches on, doing a lot of polishing, a lot of beta testing. We're doing a lot of scale beta testing this fall and getting to a size that we're confident we can deliver the game successfully.
All right. I know the pre-orders have been huge. I think it actually broke records.
Yep.
So there's going to be a massive amount of people going to play the game from day one. You guys feel like the servers are ready and not going to blow up?
That's exactly what we're proving right now. And I think that's the way we think about it too. We want to make sure that we actually test them out and prove that we can hit those big numbers.
Right.
And we're having lots of good progress in that way. But we want to make sure that when we actually do launch, we're going to have a service that's really, really high quality. Lives up to the BioWare name on the service side. It's reliable, it's available. You want to play, it's there for you. And we want to make sure that's one of the most important things. We want to get the game right and get the service right.
All right. And of course, BioWare been making RPGs for countless of years.
For 76 years, yes.
But an MMORPG is I guess, new territory.
Yeah.
Was there any hard lessons learned along the way?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think making an MMO is a really different experience. Like technology-wise, that was probably one of the biggest things we had to learn. What we did though to create Star Wars: The Old Republic was we actually took some of the really talented designers from Edmonton that had worked on, Baldur's Gate, actually the original Knights of the Old Republic game, those kind of games, and brought them down to us to our Austin studio. And actually found a lot of guys. Austin's got a history of a lot of MMO development, MMORPG development. So got a lot of guys that had made these games before on a technical side and kind of merged those guys together and actually have folks that actually really know how to both build it from a design perspective now and from a technology perspective.
So do you feel a lot of the traditional BioWare RPG feel and mechanics made it into the Old Republic?
Yeah, I think definitely. I mean, on the one hand, you'll play it and you go, wow, it really will feel a lot like a traditional MMO in the sense that it plays kind of what you expect and all those features are there, but it's still at the same time, like you said, is very much a BioWare game. So the story elements, the way the characters interact, very, very much like in the BioWare tradition. So certainly very different than other MMOs out there right now, for sure.
Yeah, I know there's a big focus on the single player experience.
Yeah.
Was there stuff you would like to put in that ended up not working well in an online environment, or?
Yeah, no, it's interesting. We were able to get away with most of what we wanted to in terms of on the development side. There wasn't really anything really specific that we didn't get in. So I mean, what we were able to do, I mean, just through sheer hard work and persistence, we found everything we wanted to, build, and we built it, and we actually managed to test it and play with it and iterate on it until it got really good. So I think there's going to be always features after the launch, though. Like one of the other things about the game as well is that, especially in an MMO,
it's never done.
Yeah, it's never done.
Yeah.
And you actually also, it's a bit of a luxury. Say, hey, we'll take a certain feature. It's not going to make the release, but maybe it'll make it the first 6 months or something. So we're kind of in that mode of right now we're determining which of those are and figuring out exactly what we're going to get in and not get in.
Because obviously it's fully voiced. There's a lot of cutscenes. But was there stuff you had to cut out in the end because it just didn't feel right?
No, I think it's funny. If anything, we're adding more stuff in, because I think
you have the choices, the real.
Yeah. No, I mean, what's happening is in the polished stage that we're actually adding better cinematics and improving the actual artistic impact of the game. So that's actually been interesting. I mean, one thing is, the choices are personal, just to be clear as well. It's like the personal choices of you and the people around you. I mean, you're not exactly changing the entire world directly, but there's certainly impact on it. But that's one of the real things we want to emphasize was that it was like around you and your choices personally, light and dark, and you can go either way no matter what class you are really the key things that you explore.
And whether you're playing as a traditional bad guy being like Sith, you can still go towards good or bad.
You can be a good Sith, like a good guy who happens to be Sith.
Or a bad Jedi.
Yes, you can.
All right. And you said something about your artistic direction. I know you guys have been working on this game for countless of years. And last time I was at the Old Republic event, and the guys there told me they were still hard at work at trying to get all the older parts that were designed years ago up to the level of the newer parts. How did that work out the last couple of months? Has everything been leveled to the same graphic?
Yeah, very, very close. We've been working on the lighting a lot. We actually redid one entire area recently. It was one of the city locations, and redid it just simply because we wanted to bring it to a higher quality. And it's funny, I was playing in that. I mean, right before we came to Gamescom, I was playing that all weekend, and I happened to be in that area.
Which area is that, or is that still top secret?
Yeah, it's a little secret. But,
all right.
but so we're literally taking the content, looking at it, figuring out what we can improve, and just tweaking stuff. We actually redid parts of the characters, redid character faces. We're always always like, refining the equipment, making it look better. So it's never ending for us. Like we're always trying to make it better and better and better. So that's actually one of the other benefits of being an online game. We can always find more things to tweak and improve over time.
Yeah. You already said an MMO is basically never done, but at some point you just have to release.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of MMOs that have been released over the last couple of years sort of fell flat because the guys that start playing are really hardcore. They rush to the endgame content really fast, and some of the recent MMOs have been lacking in endgame content. Right. How do you feel? Is the Old Republic prepared for people rushing to? I think level 50 is the final level.
50, yeah. I think we're pretty prepared. I mean, we've actually experienced it in testing even. Like, 'cause we've been testing. We're actually already live. We were running it as a live game. We have customer service always already working and supporting people. We've had people in the office and some testers actually hit level 50 and then explore some of the end game content. But we're pretty confident. I think one of the interesting things for us too, I think it's not just the end game content that was difficult in some of those other games, even the mid game. Like people kind of ran out of stuff to do even on their way there. And
just to get more levels.
And so we have a very, very rich game to the end. And then the other thing that's interesting is I think there's a whole dimension of replayability that we have that other games aren't as strong as.
The different classes?
Different classes. Every class has their own story. And if you play Republic side or Imperial side, you have an entirely different experience. Like all stories everything's different. If you play, a Jedi Knight and a Jedi Consular, there'll be some crossover, but you'll still have your own individual story. So there's lots of reasons to play other classes, and it's actually going to extend the experience. And we've got a few gameplay things up our sleeve that we'll tell people about later. But it's just a very positive. It's the thing that's different. Instead of just racking the same guy over and over and over again at high level, you can explore other character stories and see other dimensions of the game that are really exciting.
I know there's going to be PvE, PvP to explore. Yeah. As far as PvE goes, I got to experience, I believe, the first instance, which
the Black Talon or S-list, the transition arc.
Yeah, which always have to be sort of easy because players are just getting into it. How do you feel the mechanics are shaping up? Because designing a dungeon for end game characters is quite a challenge, I can imagine.
Yeah, well, we have it's interesting because the flashpoints, that's those kind of larger, deeper dungeons.
Yeah, that's how you call an instance in the Old Republic, a flashpoint.
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting because we've been actually tweaking the difficulty on those, and so we've been playing around. Like, I can say there's actually two types. There's a flashpoint, which are the larger story-driven ones, and there's one what we call heroics, like the sort of group based, and there's like 2 or 4 person heroics, and they're tough. I was playing some on the weekend and we wiped a few times, and I was like, we got to try this a little differently. And once you get the hang of it, we survived and did well. So, and the difficulty's been something that, like you said, it's this continuous balancing act. That's part of the thing that we learned from testing is like running people through these, getting new players to run through them, and figuring out they shouldn't be easy, but they shouldn't be impossible. I think it's. For this higher level, more difficult content, you expect people to die. That you're supposed to die, and it's not every time, but it's something that's a natural occurrence, and you have to try it a couple times before you get the hang of it, and then you can do well.
Yeah.
So, but that's something that we're refining continually based on feedback and based on what we observe from players' results.
Yeah. I do know you guys have traditional roles, as in a tank and a healer and a DPS. Yeah. But you are very flexible when it comes to allowing different classes to fulfill a lot of different roles.
Yeah, we are, absolutely.
Are they pretty much traditional in the way they play out, do you feel? Like tanking is tanking compared... of course you guys want to be original, so I don't want to say it's the same as in other games.
It's interesting because I think we sort of have a bit of hybrid stuff going on too, right? Like where you got like a support tank, and so it's kind of like you're...
there's even a stealth tank, I believe? Or has that been scrapped?
I think we're not quite doing that still, but...
All right.
Yeah, so it's we're trying to be really, it's interesting because for new players to MMOs, it doesn't really mean much to them, but for traditional people, they actually go, well, what is this guy? I go, well, here's what, and we're actually being really explicit now about explaining what the role is and stuff. So
they've been used to it being a particular type.
And then actually, because once you also have your let's say in your advanced class, once you have your advanced class, then you have a whole skill tree, right? So then you can further specify. So like the one I'm playing right now is the Jedi Consular, is like basically the major force wielding Jedi guy. But then I chose Sage, and that's and then I have so you can have a telekinetic or healing path within there. So I can be either a hybrid, semi-DPS, semi-healing, or I went all healing on my guy.
So your Jedi Counselor will be very different from my Jedi Counselor.
It could be, it could be totally different. Yeah. That's actually what's cool about it is that, and then what you do and what you choose from a skill perspective makes a difference too on your skill trees. So it's in the end it'll be pretty clear, but we'll make sure that we tell people.
Cool. Sounds awesome, and thanks a lot for your time.
No, thank you.
Appreciate it.